back to the Daily Grind. Thanks for checking out the channel. Make sure to hit subscribe if you're new and hit thumbs up if you're not a baby back bagel biting bitch boy, cause you know what time it is. It's full time.
MMA.
It's looking like injury complications are gonna have the All-American former UFC middleweight champion Chris Weidman sidelined for a few extra weeks than expected. He's had thumb surgery, he's revealing while speaking with ESPN, and this is what he had to say. My hand is going all right, not great. I'm not really sure how long it's going to be. I was with the UFC physical therapist and she was hoping maybe in 2 months I could be 100%. There's no telling. I guess it's a unique injury. Basically, they took the tendon out of my wrist to anchor my thumb into the socket because the ligament had torn. The doctor kind of did tell me it's almost the equivalent of doing an ACL on a knee. I'm like, what? What happened to a 6-week mark you were talking about? Now this is interesting because Chris Weidman, he's got a few possible matchups in the middleweight division, being one of the top contenders when he returns. Michael Bisping, we know, just lost to Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin Gastelum's coming off of a loss to Chris Weidman actually. Chris Weidman's he was on a 3-fight losing streak, which he snapped with that submission victory over Kelvin Gastelum. And now we wonder who's next, because right now there's a little bit of the division's a little stagnant right now with GSP as the champion. We've got Robert Whittaker as the interim champion, and now we don't really know what's going to happen with these contenders as we wait to see what GSP's going to do next. What's GSP's next move? If it's to fight Robert Whittaker, that's fine, but a lot of people believe George St. Pierre will actually be either vacating the belt or moving to a different division, and Robert Whittaker will be defending an interim title, which to me, I haven't seen that yet, somebody defending an interim title. I believe it might have happened once in UFC history, but if you've got a champion that's healthy, defending an interim title is absolute nonsense to me. So I hope if GSP or this the same thing with Conor McGregor, if these guys decide to not fight the interim champion next, hopefully they will either vacate or be stripped of their title. That way the real title can go to either Tony Ferguson or Robert Whittaker, who is their rightful next fight should be the current champion. So with that being said, we'll see what happens there. But Robert Whittaker is looking like he could be fighting next. I mean, it could either be Kelvin Gastelum, Chris Weidman, Luke Rockhold, or George St. Pierre. Brendan Schaub has alluded to the Robert Whittaker versus Luke Rockhold fight, which honestly, if it's not going to be George St. Pierre, makes the most sense. Robert Whittaker just knocked out Michael Bisping today, this morning in the first round. He called out Robert Whittaker, but the problem with that is Kelvin Gastelum's last loss was to Chris Weidman. So as long as Chris Weidman is another top contender, it would be weird. It wouldn't, not all the way weird. We've seen definitely weirder things, but for Kelvin Gastelum to be fighting for the title when there's another contender in Chris Weidman, who just kind of, he put hands on Chris Weidman in the first round, almost dropped him, whatever. But Chris Weidman after that pretty much manhandled him, took him down like 7 times and submitted him. Showed why Kelvin Gastelum's natural weight class was welterweight, but he's got those weight management issues. So I think Luke Rockhold, if you're telling me out of those 3 guys, if you're telling me out of Weidman, Rockhold, and Gastelum who gets the next shot, it's going to be Rockhold versus Whittaker. And that's fine with me, but we have to see what's going on with GSP first because we've already talked about that. But there's another middleweight contender that's actually making waves in Derek Brunson. Now, so with Chris Weidman going to be sidelined for a little bit longer, you have to wonder, how are these fights going to get made? I mean, we've got Kelvin Gastelum. Who's he going to fight next? I would like to see Kelvin Gastelum versus Derek Brunson. Honestly, that would be a good fight. I mean, 2 top middleweight contenders. Who else is next for Gastelum? He's probably not going to get the Whittaker fight. That's the champion fight. He's probably going to have to fight another contender. I mean, he's been beating a lot of middleweight legends. He's fought Vitor Belfort, Tim Kennedy, and he was supposed to fight Anderson Silva, but he just fought Michael Bisping. There's a couple other people he's fought. But as far as prime middleweight contenders, he's really only fought Chris Weidman, and we saw how that fight went for Kelvin Gastelum. So me personally, I would like to see Kelvin Gastelum fight one more time rather than skipping these guys and jumping right to the Whittaker fight. Derek Brunson needs a fight. He wants a big fight. Who else is coming up? Paulo Costa versus Kelvin Gastelum. I'm down for that. And then the other guy, Luke Rockhold. If Luke Rockhold doesn't fight if Luke Rockhold doesn't fight for the belt, Derek Brunson's already called him out. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens at middleweight once GSP makes his decision. With that being said, it is what it is. Chris Weidman's going to be sidelined a little longer. Who is Michael Bisping going to fight in his retirement fight? That's another fight. Maybe Weidman will be coming back in time to fight Bisping or something. This middleweight division, I gotta admit, there's going to be some fun matchups coming up. I mean, the welterweight division is the most exciting, most fun division, but middleweight's probably second. So it is what it is. Let the full-time family know what the fuck you tap in the comments. I'm out.
Da 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 da. It's the motherfucking DOG.